So the way that I was able to get my initial success when it comes to online side hustles was by starting an e-commerce business, because that same e-commerce business allowed me to hand in my resignation notice and quit my 9 to 5 job and just live life on my own terms. And in today's video, what I want to do is go through 5 different things that I wish I knew from the very beginning, because if I had a video like this, I would have been able to avoid certain mistakes and just take the best steps possible from day one. And I do need to say before I get into any of the steps that I'm going to talk about, that this video should not be taken as financial or business advice. All I'm going to be doing is sharing with you guys my own opinion, my own experiences as to the things that I've learned, all of the different mistakes that I've learned over the years when starting an e-com store from scratch. So just treat this video as a form of entertainment or even education. But I'm sure that by the end of it, you're going to have a full understanding as to what goes into building an e-com store so that you can avoid costly mistakes. But let's not waste any more time. Let me jump straight into one of the first things that I wish I had a full understanding of, which was the actual definition of what an e-commerce business is. Now, we live in a day and age where all of us go onto social media, TikTok, Instagram, and we see people driving nice cars, living the life that we want to live. And some of them say that they are building an e-commerce business or running an e-commerce business. And because of that, we just want to jump 2 feet into it and start doing it ourselves without fully understanding what it entails. I'm not saying that it's complicated, I'm not saying that it's difficult to understand, but you just need to get a full grasp of what's going to be involved so that you can decide if it's something that you want to do or not. Now, my definition of it, if we just break down the word e-commerce, so let's look at commerce. All this means is trading goods for money, and the E part of it just means that you're doing that on the internet. So commerce has always existed, bartering, trading things, swapping one thing for another. But in this day and age, when it comes to doing so, one of the best ways is going to be on the internet, because you're going to be able to reach the entire world. And there's so many different nuances, so many different aspects to an e-commerce business, but one of the initial ones is the different types of products that you can sell. You can either sell physical products or digital products, or what you can do is sell both. I would say that focusing on just one and then putting your energy into one type of product is going to be your best bet. But as you continue to grow, as you continue to learn, as you continue to develop your skills, maybe selling both is going to be a better option, because you're going to be able to build up multiple different streams. And for those of you right now that are thinking, but Sam, can you give us an example of a digital product or how a store can sell both? Well, for example, imagine if you built, let's say, a pet store and you're selling pet related products. Off the back of that, you can now sell some sort of ebook or even some sort of educational course when it comes to educating your customers on how to look after their dogs in the best way. The reason why selling both physical and digital products is powerful is because you're going to be able to upsell, cross-sell, and of course, when it comes to digital products, the profit margin is going to be much higher. But moving on to one of the next things that you need to consider, which is going to be the method of fulfillment. Now, of course, when it comes to digital products, things are somewhat automated. When someone buys it, it's going to be automatically sent to their email inbox. But when it comes to physical products, there's 2 main ways that you can fulfill the product to your customer. One option is to buy the items in bulk, and whenever you make a sale, you're going to have to ship it out yourself. Or what you can do if you did want to buy the products in bulk is use some sort of fulfillment center. But of course, with this option, it's going to require you to have some sort of a startup budget so that you can find a supplier that's going to be able to sell you the products in bulk, so that when you pay your supplier, they're now going to ship you those products. And then from there, you can now do whatever you need to do when it comes to selling all of those items and being able to make a profit. The second option when it comes to fulfillment is to use the dropshipping method. The way that this works is that whenever you make a sale, your supplier is going to receive the order in terms of the details of the customer, their name, the address, and the product that they ordered. And then from there, what your supplier is going to be able to do is pack that order and send it straight to your customer without you having to see the product once. Now, with these 2 different fulfillment options, there's various different pros and cons that goes into it. If you're buying products in bulk, of course, you're going to need some sort of investment when it comes to doing so. And there's also a risk that you could potentially lose your money if you're not able to sell the products in the quickest way possible. But on the other hand, one of the pros is that you're going to be able to get the product at a cheaper price, because when you buy items in bulk, you're going to be able to buy them cheaper in terms of the unit cost, which means that you're going to be able to make more profit than what you would be able to do when it comes to drop shipping, because with that option, you're going to be buying the item one at a time. But I would say that one of the main pros when it comes to drop shipping is that, of course, you don't need to buy the items in bulk, and you're also going to be able to scale a little bit more faster because you can test various different products. If you find one that's doing well and you find a supplier that has high quality and they're going to be able to ship the product out quick, you can scale that product quicker than what you would be able to do if you was going to buy inventory up front. So these are the different things that you need to consider when it comes to different fulfillment methods. You need to decide on which option is best for you. And you also need to have an understanding of which softwares and tools are going to be the best ones for you to use. For example, if you was thinking about going down the dropshipping route, you may want to consider using a software like AutoDS. Now, AutoDS is great for so many different reasons. You know, it's a tool that I talk about on this channel a lot because I use it every single day, or I log into it every day and I use it for a number of different things. One of the first things is to find different physical products that are selling well right now. They've got a marketplace that you can check out that's already connected to various different suppliers. And they've got a trending product section, handpicked product section, where if I wanted to add any one of these different products to my stores, whether eBay, Shopify, or countless other platforms, I'm going to be able to do it with a few clicks of a button. And of course, when it comes to fulfilling the orders as well, they are really efficient when it comes to doing this, because when you add a product onto your store, again, it's going to be connected to your supplier already. So just picture it like this. Your store is here, AutoDS is in the middle, and your supplier is on the other end. So essentially, AutoDS is going to act as a middleman. So when a new order comes in, AutoDS receives it, and they're going to know exactly what product has been sold. So from there, they're going to send that information over to your buyer so that you don't have to do things manually. But the overall point that I'm trying to make is that when it comes to picking any one of these different fulfillment methods, buying in bulk or using dropshipping, you just need to know which tools out there are going to be able to help you do it in the most efficient way possible. But this now brings me on to one of the next things that you need to consider when it comes to building an e-com store from scratch, which is the platform that you're going to use. So in this day and age, there's so many different platforms available for beginners to use. But I would say that the top 3 platforms, especially when it comes to selling physical products, is going to be either eBay, Amazon, or Shopify. These are the 3 main platforms that I've used for me to build my e-commerce businesses over the years. So that's the reason why I tend to mention them. eBay and Amazon are great because they're marketplaces. You know, people go onto them, hundreds of millions of people go onto them every single day searching for a specific item to buy, which means that you don't really have to think too much about how you're going to get traffic to your product page. On the other hand, when it comes to using Shopify, Shopify is a platform that a lot of people get confused with Spotify, but the way that Shopify works is that it's going to help you when it comes to building your own e-commerce website. Now with this, you are going to need to understand how to get traffic onto your site, but you're going to be able to brand your store in any way that you want. And you're also going to have the flexibility as to how you're going to manage your customers. And what I mean by this is that marketplaces like eBay and Amazon don't let you see too much information when it comes to your customers' email addresses, which means it's going to be difficult when it comes to you taking full control over your business. So in my personal opinion, eBay and Amazon are definitely great options because as long as you're able to find a winning product that's doing well, all you got to do is list it on your store for sale. Of course, there's other nuances and things that you need to know. But Shopify does make things a little bit more easier when it comes to getting up and running. You're not going to be subjected to any limitations when you first start. You can list as many products that you want. You can brand your store in any way that you want. And there's also ways that you can build a store super quick. So the way that I do it is by using this AI store builder. So I've shown this on my channel recently. You know, and it's something that I'm going to continue to show because I believe it's powerful and it's something that I wish I had when I first started building up my e-com stores from the very beginning, because I would have been able to overcome a lot of issues and I would have been able to save a lot of money as well. Because the way that this AI store builder works is that once you decide on what you want the niche of your store to be, is that you just need to come on here, select it, follow through with the process. There's going to be a step in the process where you're going to be able to sign up for a Shopify trial. Currently, at the time of me making this video, you can get a 3-month trial with Shopify, which means that you don't need to pay the full $150 or so. Sometimes they do a 1 month trial. At the time of me making this video, it's 3 months. So that just makes things a little bit more easier when you're first getting started. You can test out different products, see what works, see what doesn't work, and scale from there. And of course, you're going to be able to also register directly with AutoDS within the AI Store Builder as well. So what I do when I'm going through this process is I sign up to AutoDS, and because I've done that, the account is going to be automatically paired with my AutoDS account. And with AutoDS, they also provide a 30-day trial, specifically if you sign up during the process of using the AI Store Builder. So everything is going to be integrated nicely, and everything can be done with the short amount of time and the least amount of money possible. And of course, when it comes to customizing the site that it was able to give you, that's not difficult to do. You can go onto sites like Canva when it comes to getting logos made really quick as well. So what I do is I go into Canva, get a logo made, that relates to the niche of the store that I'm looking to build. And of course, I just go through the store, make any other changes. If there's products that I don't really want to sell, I remove them. If I want to add any new product, I use AutoDS. But the overall point is, when it comes to this part of the e-commerce process, you just want to make sure that you have a full understanding of the different pros and cons that goes into all of the different platforms that are available for you to use. But this now brings me on to one of the next steps in this process of building an e-com store from scratch, which is understanding how to get traffic onto the site. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that getting traffic onto your site is super easy, but it's one of the most important parts of the process. So, of course, if you want to, tap into marketplaces like Amazon and eBay, you can do that. But if you're thinking about going down the route of building your own store using something like Shopify, then you're going to have to understand the different options available to you when it comes to building up traffic. And if there's one thing that I've learned over my 10 years of running various different online businesses, is that if you're able to become a master of traffic, then you've essentially cracked the code and you're going to be a master of your own finances. Because the more quality traffic you're able to direct to a specific product page, the higher chance you're going to have when it comes to being successful. Now, just to give you an insight of what I mean when I say traffic, there's 2 different forms of traffic. You can either get organic traffic, also known as free traffic, or what you can do is use paid traffic. I think it goes without saying the differences between the two. Free traffic, you don't need to pay for it. However, paid traffic, you're going to have to pay something for it. And just like with everything that we've spoken about so far in this video, there's pros and cons when it comes to both. Paid traffic, you're of course going to need some sort of a budget, and you're going to continuously need to get a budget for you to continue scaling. However, when it comes to one of the cons with free traffic is that it can be quite slow to begin with, and it can also be slow moving forward as well. But I would say one of the main pros when it comes to free traffic is that as long as you're consistent when it comes to whatever free traffic method you've decided to use, it could be a great way for you to be able to keep more profit in your pocket. And specifically when it comes to being able to get free traffic onto a website that you've built that's selling a particular product, the way that you can do it is going to come down to either written content or video content. For example, if you're selling a specific type of product, let's say you're selling pet products, what you can do is post trending videos on a TikTok page, Instagram page. Of course, make sure that those social media accounts are branded around the same store that you're building. And if you're able to be consistent when it comes to publishing short form videos, even long form videos on YouTube, you're going to be able to get those organic videos out there for people to see. And in turn, some of those people are going to convert into paying customers. The same thing goes with written content. A lot of people don't realize that you can actually post blog articles on a Shopify store for those written articles to get ranked in the Google search results. This is super powerful because you can actually automate this entire process. What I've been doing recently is, building AI agents when it comes to writing articles that are automatically published onto the back end of my Shopify stores. Of course, there's going to be a learning curve when it comes to doing this in the most efficient way possible, but it doesn't take too long to learn, maybe a day, 2 days, 3 days. As you can see on the screen, this is the back end of what an AI agent looks like. Essentially, I'm using ChatGPT when it comes to producing fully written articles that are automatically going to be published onto my Shopify store instantly every single day at the specific time that I set. And if you wanted me to make a detailed video on this particular process, just put in the comments down below, Sam, can you do the AI agent ecom video? And I'll do that ASAP. But the main point that I'm trying to make during this part of the process is that You just want to have a firm understanding of 3 organic methods that you can use when it comes to getting traffic and all of the different paid options that you can use as well. And some key things that I want to touch on when it comes to paid traffic is that it's going to be done using either Facebook, TikTok, Instagram ads, or one of my favorite ones that I was able to initially use when it came to scaling up my Shopify stores, which was Google Shopping ads. Deciding on which platform to use depends on what type of product you're selling. If you're selling a product that's targeted towards a younger demographic, then you may want to consider using a platform like TikTok. If it's an older demographic, then maybe Facebook. Or if it's a product that people are actively searching for, then you may want to consider using a platform like Google Shopping. But for the most part, I would say that those are some of the main things that you need to know when it comes to building up an e-com store from scratch. Of course, from that point, you're going to need to understand how to track your performance, profit and loss. Also make sure that you're optimizing when it comes to the traffic that's coming onto your website so that you can convert more people into paying customers. But I've got more videos coming out over the next week, maybe over the next few days when it comes to being able to set things up. I'm going to jump into the laptop and show you click by click, step by step, how to do all of this. So make sure that if you enjoy this type of content, you press the like button. Don't forget to subscribe as well, hit the bell notification so that YouTube can let you know once a new video has been released. And if you wanted to watch a recent YouTube video that I made not too long ago where I go into a lot more details with everything that we've spoken about today, you're going to be able to watch that video by clicking the link right there. Be sure to check that out straight after this because it's already helped out so many people, and I'm sure if you're able to watch it from start to finish without skipping, it can also help you out as well. But other than that, guys, I'll catch you on that next video. Make sure you stay safe out there. Peace.